successful day. My name is Glenn Graham, CEO of the 9-5 Killers movement and podcast. And I wanted to talk to you guys today about something that people kind of struggle with. One of the struggles that people kind of mess with today is a lot of people are trying to avoid changes, like changes in every scenario in life, from smaller changes with, like, maybe say a job, to changes with like a person that you might have been friends with or even dating. Something has happened and you have been forced to accept change as opposed to adapting to change. And I wanted to talk to you guys today because, as many of you guys know or don't know, I have a clothing line called 9-5 Killers. It's also a podcast. And one of the situations that I struggled with recently is I found a great clothing manufacturer in Manhattan. Not going to say the name, but they do great clothing. Some of the newer hats that you guys see me wearing, and some of the sweatshirts have been through them creating stuff for me. What I've noticed, though, because it's very hard to find manufacturers that are in New York City or in general that, one, have a fair price and also do quality work. So they do quality work, but the issue that I had with these particular manufacturers is when it comes down to accepting responsibility for certain things. So let's say there was an issue. I remember there was an issue I had with a hat where I gave them some specific instructions. They did about 12 hats for me. One of the hats, they did a wrong color. And I had to kind of go back and forth a little bit with the owner of the establishment because he didn't want to accept the change or the problem that his employee created for the hat. So that was the one issue that I had with him. I noticed that was, to me, it was a small issue. But recently, I had a bigger issue. I'm coming out with a line of coats for my brand, and it's a pretty nice weatherproof coat. And I took it to this place just to get them to do the stitching on the jacket and put my logo. The jacket was already done, and it was supposed to be done for Monday, this coming Monday. Now, I went on Saturday just to go double check. They said they weren't able to do it any sooner. So when I went on Saturday to just kind of give them more notes on what I wanted done with the jacket was already completed. Now, there was a checks and balance system where nothing is supposed to go out until the customer approves it. But one of the people that worked, I guess, for this particular store that I was using, company I was using, they got super excited and wanted to do it, as a favor to me ahead of time. So he jumped the gun and he didn't look at the notes, and they pretty much ruined the jacket. Luckily, that jacket was not for a client. It was actually for a sample. I use a lot of the clothing that I create for myself first so that people can see it. So luckily, it was not for a client. But they didn't know that. So I went there, I said, listen, this is not what I wanted. This is the designs that I actually was gonna lock onto. I was coming today to pay my deposit and give you guys a note, and it's done, and it's wrong. And he said it's not his problem. He didn't wanna fix the problem. And right then and there, we went back and forth. And I was going back and forth with him so much because it's so hard to find good manufacturers in New York, right? That do certain things for our alterations for our clothing. So granted, I didn't want to find new. So what ended up happening, we went back and forth so much that he said to me, you know what? I don't want your business. Never come back here again. He never gave me the refund. He did refund the money that I put down for the jacket, but not for the ruined jacket that I could not use. So I said to myself in that moment, I said, you know what? It's probably better that it was one jacket and not 10 or 12, because if the sample would have went right, I would have done a bigger order with them, and this could have been a big catastrophe. Now, if you see how somebody behaves when there is an issue, when they show you that, one, they don't appreciate the business that you bring to them, and two, they don't follow their own checks and balance system. They told me that my stuff could not go out. I tried to pay for it on Friday to go out earlier. I said, I pay you extra if you can put it out earlier. They said, there's no way, there's people in front of you. How one person at this location could decide that they wanted to put it out earlier And now that they've made the mistake, it wasn't rectified. So lo and behold, so I'm no longer at that place, but it came at a good point for me because I did a Google search and I checked a couple places and I found a place in Harlem that I'm going to be using. They're doing about 7 hats for me right now. And they also do custom patches and other work that I've been wanting to do. But this place that I was going to, that I was loyal to, but wasn't loyal to me, they didn't do that type of work. You know, whenever I wanted to do my patches, I had to do my patches overseas and I couldn't really see them, but they do quality work. But now I got somebody in the city that will be able to do my patch work. That means I can do smaller runs. I can have a quicker turnaround and get merchandise to my clientele faster. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this so that anybody listening to this, whether you have a business or whatever the situation you're in, there's going to come a point in time where you're going to have to adapt to change. There's a lot of people fighting change in miraculous ways. That means that you've been doing something for a long time, you've been working with somebody for a long time, and you got accustomed to them. They don't do the best work anymore, or there's people that do better work, but because your relationship to that person or to those people, you accept subpar performance, you accept the bare minimum. And I'm here to tell you that if that situation had not happened, I would have been sticking around with those people and my business wouldn't have been able to grow like it's going to grow right now. Because now I can do things that I'm not stuck just dealing with them anymore. I actually have people that I'm working with that are super concerned with how the product comes out. And something that I noticed right away with the new place that I'm dealing with is when I gave them the hats to do and I was leaving, the guy put it on the computer and looked at it right away, make sure the files were correct. But before I left, he said, hey, I noticed that because my K on my 9-file kills is backward. He said, I just want to make sure, did you mean for it to be reversed? And I said, yes, I did. That's how the logo is. And he said, thank you. I just want to make sure I get it right. So that checks and balance system of making sure, now you don't just print what people give you, and that's what the other company was saying. Whatever you give us is what we print. We find errors in the spelling, we print it anyway. And that to me is the bare minimum, and I don't accept the bare minimum, and neither should you. So guys, that's all for now. I just wanted to jump on here and tell you that that's the takeaway that I've gotten, is sometimes you have to be willing to accept different changes and in your life, in your business, and you're gonna grow. Don't be afraid of the unknown. I know there's some people sitting here and maybe you've been working on something and you've been working with a specific company or companies and they're not doing the quality work that you like and they are not respecting you and your journey. You have to figure out how to get different for yourself. You deserve better. Your business deserves better. Your customers deserve better. So don't be afraid, guys. You have a great night, and I'm signing off. Peace.